We've asked Veganz, the first vegan grocery chain in Europe, how can aquatic life be protected? And what is Veganz doing for this? Let's have a look at your answer.
Hi, we're Kimberly
and Maria
from Veganz, the food brand for innovative products and vegan indulgence from Berlin. Today we would like to talk to you about our goal for sustainable development number 14, life underwater.
You're probably wondering, what does the ocean exactly have to do with sustainability? Well, not only do the world's oceans cover more than 2/3 of the Earth's surface, but they are also of great importance for the development of the global climate and serve as a sustainable basis of life for over 3 billion people. They are also the largest recesses for greenhouse gases.
How is it looking for the world underwater? All of us have this great big image in mind. Blue water, beautiful fish, and astonishing vegetation. But did you know that our oceans are threatened? The acidification of our seas, changes in coastlines due to climate change, and overfishing are destroying the basis of life for all living creatures around the world.
For example, overfishing of the seas and deep-sea fishing in the Western Pacific mean that inshore fishing in Fiji can no longer feed the local population because fish stocks are being depleted.
This is why it's one of the United Nations 17 goals for sustainable development to protect our life underwater. There are various methods to achieve this. By the end of this year, the United Nations want to put a stop to overfishing, illegal and destructive fishing regulations, and, on a scientific level, restore fish stocks to species conserving levels within the shortest amount of time possible. A far more important indicator is the percentage of fish stocks at biologically sustainable levels.
Likewise, fishery subsidies that contribute to the overfishing, for example, should be banned by 2020. Other goals for the protection of life underwater include the reduction of plastic waste in the ocean and the protection of coastal waters. Although the number of protected coastal waters has almost doubled in the last 10 years, the sustainability of global fishery resources continues to decline.
Okay, short reality check. What's the situation as of right now? Here are a few statistics. According to the FAO, 84 million tons of fish were trawled out of the ocean in 2018, an increase of almost 4% from the year before. 34% of fish stocks are overfished, and 60% of the fish stocks have been fished to the limit and may no longer be increased.
Fish consumption has risen by 122% between 1990 and 2018. And why is that? The suffering of these animals eludes our perception. Whether in cultural terms or according to the definition of the EU's trade in goods, fish is not considered meat. Even the so-called pescatarians call themselves vegetarian often. Although they do not eat poultry, beef and other animals, they often make an exception for sea animals, to the detriment of our environment and the planet. In addition to the 84 million tons of sea fish, there are 31 million tons of fish from aquaculture. Anchovies, Alaska pollock and tuna are particularly common. Together they alone account for 13.6 million tons. As you can see, it's pretty obvious that we need to change. Our appetites for fish is as great as ever, and none of the actions taken so far seem to really reduce the problem of overfishing.
Most countries have taken measures and introduced an increasing number of fishery management tools over the last decade. In 2016, for example, a convention on eliminating illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing came into force.
The good news is that already 66 parties have signed the contract. The bad news is that we're yet waiting for the results. China and Russia have not signed the contract yet, and they alone account for more than 17% of the world's exports.
But why is fish eating so low? The high consumption of fish was driven by the awareness that fish is a healthy food, rising income worldwide and changing production conditions. But a rapid improvement is necessary.
You're probably asking yourself, what can I do to help solve this problem? And the answer is super simple. Anyone can achieve great things with very little effort because the answer is in your diet. Better said, a plant-based or flexitarian diet.
That should happen.
We at Veganz have made it our mission to make plant-based foods available to as many people as possible. And this is exactly what we're doing, with trade partners in more than 27 countries and 15,000 points of sale. We believe that plant-based products should taste as good as their conventional counterparts and yet be more sustainably friendly.
The overfishing of the oceans, its ecological consequences and the animal suffering are the reasons why we have developed the vegan alternative to smoked salmon. Our vegan smoked salmon is based on purely plant-based ingredients. Seaweed and macroalgae not only make it super delicious, but above all an absolute climate miracle. We want to show you what the product's impact on the environment actually is.
We've printed the so-called sustainability score on each of our products, and it shows their respective ecological balance. The score is divided into 4 categories, which are CO2 emission, deforestation, animal welfare, and water consumption.
But where do we get the numbers? From Eternity. This Swiss Institute compares each of our products to 110,000 products from the DACH region to develop a star ranking. If a product has 3 stars, it's sustainable. 2 stars means it doesn't harm the environment or the planet. With only 1 star, we start the optimization.
Our vegan salmon scores the highest rate in all 3 categories. And because of its purely plant-based recipe, it helps protect the world's fish stock and scores 3 stars in animal welfare.
In addition, all the ingredients have a low CO2 emissions value. To compare, 100 grams of our vegan salmon have a CO2 emission value of 250 grams. Atlantic salmon, on the other hand, generates an emission of 760 grams. That's more than double. Water footprint works for us. None of our raw materials are sourced from countries where water is scarce. Last but not least, our beautiful rainforest can breathe a sigh of relief, as neither palm oil nor soy are used. Likewise, vegan salmon is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, 2.3 grams per 100 grams to be exact. Oh, and you know what? It's more than the value of the Atlantic salmon.
When developing our products, we try to use as few and as natural ingredients as possible. But especially with vegan meat and fish alternatives, the technological state isn't as advanced as it should be. It is particularly challenging to create an authentic taste that encourages even die-hard omnivores to choose vegan alternatives.
We'll be happy to explain how the list of ingredients in our vegan smoked salmon is created and the technological significance behind it. The main component of the slices is water, so there's not much room for chemicals. The algae extract we use is a mixture of oils and various sea algae, which in combination with beechwood smoke make up the hearty salmon aromatic taste. The maltodextrin, xanthan, as well as the potato starch hold all ingredients together and are therefore responsible for the tender and wafer-thin consistency. Where does our vegan salmon get its authentic look from? It comes from natural coloring agents, such as paprika extract and carotene, a coloring agent extracted from carrots.
As you can see, each ingredient has its own significance and makes our Veganz smoked salmon all that it is. Surprisingly genuine in taste and nearly unmistakable in appearance. With this fish alternative, we prevent the extinction of marine life and nobody has to give up the pleasure of eating fish. Just go for our alternative.
So, as we explained, plant-based foods like our smoked salmon can be easily produced in an environmentally friendly way, while at the same time meeting a global demand, thus enabling the goal of sustainable development to be reached more quickly. Our vegan salmon is the solution to save the life underwater and to preserve our ecosystems and colorful diversity.
So, what are you waiting for? Go for our Veganz smoked salmon and save the oceans, because it's good for you and better for everyone.